Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here.
Time to get things started.
Welcome to day 3 of TV Fall Sweeps Week for 2015, and this is probably going to be my longest one, just because of the fact that there are so many shows to talk about when it comes to the network of ABC. I've got 5 shows to talk about. Some will go into more detail than others, but there's definitely a lot of good stuff and just a little bit of bad. So let's see where we have gotten. Unfortunately, there were 2 shows that I did watch last year that I kind of let go by the wayside, and that was Fresh Off the Boat and Blackish, but that's also because of the fact that there were so many new shows to pick up and some that I've really finally gotten invested in. One of them, of course, is the 7th season of Modern Family. I know I got into this show way too late, but this is definitely one of the smarter shows on television to date. I absolutely love the cast, and even though I did say in the past that Sofia Vergara is kind of annoying, she is kind of growing on me in this show because they are actually giving her some really funny things to do in the current season. But of course, you can't get enough of Ty Burrell and Julie Bowen, and of course the great Ed O'Neill, who I absolutely love, and my personal favorite cast member on the show, Eric Stonestreet. I absolutely love him as Cameron, and he plays alongside Mitch, who's played by Jesse Tyler Ferguson, absolutely perfectly. It's also a very interesting season because it revolves a little bit around Haley and her relationship with Andy, and it definitely has a lot more emotional moments than flat-out funny moments. But yeah, it's definitely a good season, not a strong season than they have had in the past, because I have watched many syndicated episodes, but this is still a very good show. Another show that is really surprising me with how great it is now is the 3rd season of The Goldbergs. I loved this show, and in the first season, I even called this the best show of the year 2 years ago, and this show just keeps getting better. And it's all because of Jeff Garlin and Wendy McLennan-Covey playing the parents, and they are just so funny. When you really think that Beverly Goldberg is going to fizzle out, she just keeps getting funnier. I love the kids, especially now that Adam's voice is kind of cracking right now. He's definitely getting into more interesting situations, like with relationships and other things that normal teenagers have to do and deal with. But Erica and Barry are definitely coming into their own, and they are just giving me way too many laughs. And not to mention George Siegel also giving me such great laughs. I love the fact that they added an additional character like David Ketchner. He's in the show now, and he plays Barry's girlfriend Lainey's father. And the best thing about Lainey is the fact that she's also Erica's best friend, so the fact that Barry and Erica sometimes want to pull each other's hair out, and the fact that there is a woman in between the two of them is definitely something that will give you tons of laughs. If you haven't watched The Goldbergs, you have to. It is so funny, and especially if you grew up in the 80s, you're just going to appreciate the 80s nostalgia. But nowadays, the 80s nostalgia kind of doesn't really make the main portion of the show. It's really the acting and the stories that get involved with each and every one of these characters. Definitely watch The Goldbergs. You will have a ton of fun. Then we have How to Get Away with Murder. Oh my freaking lord, I loved this show last year, and especially with how it ended, I had no idea how they were going to continue the show, but they did. And I can't give away any spoilers. All I can say is you must watch this show. Viola Davis got the Emmy for her performance as Annalise Keating, and she deserved it. No doubt in my mind. She was the one driving force of this show. All the young law students were fantastic, and Alfred Enoch, of course, from Harry Potter, was another one of the major driving forces. Although in this season, he doesn't really say much. He's usually there in the episodes, but he really doesn't have as much dialogue as he did in the first season. But he, once again, is a major crux to the whole plot that is now unfolding. And another great addition to the cast is Famke Janssen from X-Men. I love her as the additional lawyer that is also an old friend and maybe a little something more to Annalise. I'm not going to say you just got to watch the show if you haven't. The first season is on Netflix, and I guarantee you this is going to be a show that you are going to binge. But you gotta watch carefully, you gotta pay attention, because it's fast-paced, but it is still flat-out awesome, and I cannot wait to see how the rest of the season unfolds after the winter break for season 2. And now we've got the 3rd season of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Marvel is just not stopping. We had a great 2-year run so far going into the 3rd year. It definitely intertwines with the movies wonderfully. Agent Carter was a success. I'm so excited for the 2nd season, and that's not to mention all of the shows that are showing up on Netflix now. But guys, I am not a fan of where the 3rd season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going. As a matter of fact, I find it very boring. It's a pity because of the fact that where we left off with Season 2, we had the whole story with the Inhumans. There's a possibility that these guys are going to be featured in a film. There could be a possibility that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. may show up in one of the films, but I am not enjoying this season at all. It is immensely boring. It fell so flat compared to the last 2 seasons, and I gotta tell you, if they do not pick up the pace here and give me something to truly enjoy before this season comes to an end, I may be letting Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. go. I'm sorry, but I am just not having a good time with this show. But here's a show that I am having a good time with, and it's the last show that we're talking about, and if you've noticed, I'm wearing a Muppet Show hoodie because the Muppets. Bill Prady, who is a co-writer of The Big Bang Theory, brings the Muppets to a whole new light. It is a true show for the fans that grew up with the Muppets because it is so funny. It is so well written. I am not a fan of the mockumentary, but the Muppets makes it work. They finally got a Muppet Show for this day and age. It is hilarious. It is fantastic. It is one of the best shows that I have been watching this year. I have not bought a television series on DVD in quite some time. I think the last one was The Newsroom, but I want to get season 1 of The Muppets. It got such great ratings. Fans of The Muppets are absolutely loving it. It's not a show for kids. Let me just put it this way. You do not want to show your kids this unless they don't understand what they're talking about, because there are some very inappropriate jokes thrown in here and there. But also, it takes a little bit of homage to the original Muppet Show by throwing in some guest stars, but not necessarily being guest stars as guest stars, but just being actors that they see on the lot, sort of like what happens in Entourage. But also, if you are a fan of the mockumentary like The Office and Modern Family, this is a show that you will definitely enjoy, and I'm going to stop talking about this show right now because I am starting to make absolutely no sense. The Muppets is amazing. A great chunk of these ABC shows are amazing. You've got to watch them, everybody. You can find How to Get Away with Murder, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Netflix. You can find The Muppets on Hulu. And that's all I'm going to say about these shows on ABC, everybody. And if you want to say anything, please put your comments in the box below. Let's have a discussion on any of these shows or any shows on ABC that you think I should be watching, because there really are a lot of great shows on ABC at this point in time. Who would have thunk? I'll see you tomorrow for another Sweeps Day, and actions speak louder than words.